YouTube, it's Jen again. I know, 2 videos in 1 week and both without Brad. I promise I did not murder him. He will be back on Wednesday of next week. There's one thing I forgot to talk about, and I wanted to make sure that I talked about it before I forgot. And that is, we did the color run on Saturday. And I'm wondering if maybe that was part of the reason why I kind of ate a lot out of being upset with myself. So we did the color run. This is our 3rd year, I believe, doing the color run, and we're doing a run with color. And so the first year I did the flavor run. First year I about died. Like, it was the worst experience ever. There was people monitoring the race on what do you call those, golf carts, and I almost just jumped on the back of a golf cart because it was just horrible. I was not a runner at that time. And then the next one I did was the color run, and I ran the whole thing. And it was a year later, and I was so proud of myself that I ran the whole thing. And then this year, I couldn't run the whole thing. I was just so frustrated with myself. I did it with one of my really good friends who is not a runner, although she is like 6 feet tall and 12 pounds, and so she has legs up to here, so she could just take one step, and that would be like 4 of my jogging steps. So, but I brought her because, I'm super competitive, and I figured, okay, having her there would help me not quit. And I probably got like 2 miles, and then I had to take breaks, and then I probably took, 5 breaks maybe during the whole thing. And so I'm just frustrated because I feel like, okay, last year I was able to run the whole thing without stopping, and then since then, yes, I haven't been jogging much this year, but I've been teaching 8 billion kickboxing classes. Monday nights I teach an hour class, drive to another gym, and teach another hour class. And it was something that I couldn't do before, and I felt like, okay, my endurance is definitely up, I'm gonna be fine. And I wasn't. And I felt like I failed. I felt like, I'm sliding backwards. And so I was really frustrated that I couldn't run the whole thing. Like, I'm really annoyed with myself. And so I know that we have another run in two weeks. Brad's doing the 10K, I'm doing the 5K. It's the same race. His is just a longer loop than mine is. And that's the one that I do that's timed. That's literally an official one. It's not a fun one. You have a bib with a chip in it, and it's timed. And last year, I was so proud of myself because I averaged a 10-minute, 7-second mile. And that was great because I was doing like a 10.5-minute mile. And so I was really proud of myself with that one. I ran the entire thing. And that was one where I didn't realize it was over a bridge. And so yeah, it's hard to run uphill. And I obviously know it's hard to run uphill. I didn't realize it was uphill. So I'm thinking about that one, and I'm like, the color run is mostly flat, so I clearly can't run for the entire time. We're going uphill, it's timed, and I'm just afraid to do that run and see my time and see it get worse. And so I know you're probably looking at me like you're silly and that's not something to worry about, but to me, I feel like I'm not moving. I don't need to have a better time. I just didn't want to have a worse time. But I know I haven't been running. It's 1,000 degrees in Florida, and so I haven't been running as much as I did last year. But it's to the point where I don't want to do the run in 2 weeks because I don't want to have like concrete evidence of my timed run being worse. And on top of that, my mom had a replacement surgery. She stayed with me for 5 weeks. She went home last Thursday, and she comes back, not this Friday, but next Friday. So she comes back from the hospital from the second surgery the night before the timed run. And when she comes home that night, she can't get up and out of bed, and she goes to the bathroom like every 2 to 3 hours every night. So I know I'm not going to get any sleep. And so part of me is like, well, you're going to be tired. You might as well. You're going to be taking care of your mom. You're doing a good deed taking care of your mom. You don't have to do the race. The other part of me is like, you're making excuses, and yes, you'll be tired, but suck it up, Buttercup. So I'm doing this video to tell myself, suck it up, Buttercup. You better go on that run unless, there better be a really good reason for you not to go on that run, because you need to do it. And even if your time sucks, part of the process is just doing it, even when you're gonna fail according to your own standards. So I know I need to do it. I'm putting this video out there so that I have accountability. So it's not this Saturday, it's the next Saturday. So now if you don't hear me talking about that race, you can harass me and give me grief, because I only do the one-timed race per year because it's too hot in Florida. I will only run in races that are basically in November through February. So I'm gonna run this run. I'm just doing this to be accountable, and just to talk about being frustrated with where I am now. And I know that Brad wants to wait till December or January to talk about goals for next year, but I also am reevaluating my goals, because I know that, and there's my little squeaky cat, I know that I had a weight goal, which I clearly didn't hit again this year. And so I think that sometimes it's okay to reevaluate your goals and change your goals. I think there's a difference between reevaluating and being realistic and giving up and quitting. And I think that if I didn't do this race on Saturday, I'd be giving up and quitting. But I think that it is okay when we talk about our goals, where my goal probably is not going to be 162 pounds. That's my wish. Absolutely, I would love it. But I know what I'm doing now and what is realistic for me to do, not just to get down to 162, but to maintain that. And so I know that for right now, I'm going to reevaluate that goal. So anyways, this is a long video for me to say that I ran a race and sucked at it. So anyways, have a great week. Don't be hard on yourself. I know that I'm hard on myself, but make sure I run that race in 2 Saturdays. So anyways, have a great week, YouTube. Bye.